in the lands between, before there were the outer gods, before there was Queen Marika, there were dinosaurs. And one time, one of the dinosaurs told Sumo that his breath smelled bad. We know what happened to the dinosaurs. When the Greater Will wants to talk to Queen Marika or any of the Two Fingers, he goes and asks Sumo for permission. And if Sumo says no, the Greater Will shuts his mouth like a good outer god. One time, the water stopped flowing to the Siofra River. And so Queen Marika came to Sumo and said, "Can you make the rivers flow again?" And so Sumo went and stood by the edge of the riverbank, and he took a big old piss. And the waters flowed cleanly and purely once again. When the Sumo lays down for a nap, he doesn't sleep. He waits. He waits for his enemies to get nearer to him. One time when Sumo was 6 months old, just after he was born, he was laying in bed waiting for enemies. And he heard a rustle at the door. And he went to answer it. And it was Queen Marika. And she said, "I'm sorry, I just couldn't sleep. I was having a nightmare. I had to come find you for help." When the Great One from Yharnam, Kos, came to the lands between one time, she said, as she walked into a bar, to a man sitting down, "You look a little fat eating all that rice." That man was Sumo. Kos was last seen, washed up on the shores, not moving. One time there was a famous scientist named Charles Darwin that came to the lands between. And at the first sight of Sumo, he declared that evolution had peaked and there would be no more from that point forward. One time while it was night, Sumo was laying in bed waiting for enemies. He was a little bored. So he decided to count every single star in the sky. When he finally got to the end, he wasn't happy at the number that he had ended on. And so he stared at the star for a minute, and then it fell from the sky and became Estelle the Natural Born. On Sumo's birthday, when he turned 3 years old, his mother had killed one of the Stormbell goats and had roasted it over a nice turnwheel open flame to a perfect medium rare, and made a lovely little pesto sauce. And she had invited many honored guests from the lands between to attend the birthday party and the lunch. And Ratigan and the Elden Beast and Radon and Praetor Rykard, they all ended up showing up late, and it kind of angered Sumo. So his mom, when they finally did show up, his mom asked Sumo, "Son, do you want me to reheat the lamb?" He said, "No, Mom, don't worry about it. Revenge is a dish best served cold." When Sumo first went to preschool, he was obviously incredibly popular, and all the boys wanted to be him, and all the girls were like, you know, they were young, but they liked him. But his favorite was a little girl named Victoria, and you know, they stayed friends for a long time. One time, I think he saved her from a
it's on the
lightning-breathing dragon. And years later, after high school, she was going to leave the lands between. But before she left, she said, "Sumo, come here. There's something I gotta tell you." And so Sumo came over and she leaned in real close. And then Victoria whispered her secret into Sumo's ear. When Sumo turned 25, he was obviously very well known. And a new person started gaining some traction in the lands between. He was very arrogant. He had done some impressive things. He slayed a couple dragons. He fought off Radon's son. thought he was pretty impressive, all in all. And so he decided to track down Sumo. And Jimmy, he finally caught up to old Sumo, and Jimmy stared him down for a minute. He said, "I challenge you to fight. It'll be one of the longest and greatest battles of all time in the lands between." And Sumo just looked up from his rice bowl and he said, well, he didn't say anything, actually. He just held out his hand, palm facing Jimmy. And Jimmy looked at him and said, "I'm not gonna stop, I'm gonna fight you." And Sumo said, "You're mistaken, I don't mean to stop. This is how many seconds you have left to live." When Sumo turned 30, he had gained a lot of recognition. One day he decided to go in for a drink at a bar. And while he was there, he met a man named Johnny Lou. Now, Johnny Lou was a renowned warrior also, and he had done many great deeds. But he said that, he was talking with Sumo, and he said he had heard of all the magnificent tales that Sumo had done. Now, Johnny Lou was a humble man. He wasn't like Jimmy, But Johnny did say that one time he had met the Grim Reaper in his travels, and him and the Grim Reaper had also had a drink at a bar, and the Grim Reaper started telling him a story. And in the story, the Grim Reaper was talking about how Sumo had fought off 10,000 Imperial soldiers on his own. The splendor of that battle was like none he'd ever seen before. And the Grim Reaper apparently said that he thought he was going to get Sumo that day, but Sumo cheated death. Now, as soon as Johnny said this story out loud in the bar, the Grim Reaper appeared out of thin air. And the Grim Reaper said, "Easy now, Johnny. I'm so sorry, Mr. Sumo. I don't want any trouble. I know you never cheated death. You won fair and square." That was the last time Sumo ever heard from the Grim Reaper. Hey guys, so DadBodGamer here. Loving this Dexterity build. This is a lot of pre-recorded footage. We're on 1.08 here. And if you enjoy the videos, hope you can watch some more and throw me a like and subscribe out there, and I'll have some more coming at you in the future. Adios.